Hello and welcome to the New Earth Architectress podcast. I am super excited about today's episode. I have a special guest on the show today. Her name is Jo Petroni, and she is an architect who helps landowners and property owners to deeply listen to their land. Two, feel into the solutions for regenerating their property and also for planning their property. She's going to share more about her unique approach, and I'm super excited to dive into today's conversation. Welcome, Jo.
Thank you so much for having me, Aisha. It's an absolute joy to be here. I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation. Looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm sure too. So, Jo, for the audience members, the listeners who don't know who you are, would love to hear, okay, you're an architect. How did you start? How did you get into sharing and guiding property owners and land stewards through your unique modality? And tell us more about it too.
I am what a couple of us also call a recovering architect.
A recovering architect. Yeah.
My father was an architect before me, and that's all I ever knew to do. And I, grew into it and looking above his shoulder, and went through school with his guidance, and then went into the trenches. And after a couple of years of that, I kind of had my disenchantment moment that I did not want to make any other commercial building plan in my life. And that happened at the same time as I was sitting in an orchard barefoot in June. And I had brought with me, I'm a city girl, so that was like a whole new thing for me. And I was reading the permaculture book from Bill Mollison that I had brought with. And it completely opened up my life. I was 24, maybe 25, coming out of school. And that summer was a summer of walking barefoot, growing your own tomatoes, doing yoga, learning to do meditation, looking at the orchard, like all of it, everything, and reading permaculture. And so that brought to my world a new understanding of buildings. I'll go technical because there's a lot of architects in your audience, and but if there's a jargon at some point that needs explaining, please interrupt me and we'll
Absolutely, I
go
will.
through it.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah.
It brought an understanding of buildings not as this sort of conceptual free floating thing in the nothingness of the AutoCAD space, but as an actual element in a system. And that system at the start was simple. It was the site. And so I started bringing all of that back into my practice as a very straightforward understanding of microclimate in order to do bioclimatic passive solar design. That was the extent of it at the very start. That was the pull. And it made so much sense to me. I was like, I just have to tell everyone, and like it's so like obvious. And I've been telling it to everyone ever since. So what it did, it was recalibrating this way of seeing architecture in step with the disenchantment that I was having, and with this difference between what I had idealized was the profession and what it is in reality today. And so I started my practice, my own practice, in that direction. Worked with a lot of off-gridders, permaculture buffs, natural building, low tech, et cetera, et cetera. And then the scale started widening towards eco villages, and then what is now called regenerative communities, and bigger sort of hospitality developments with wellness and regenerative and etc. So that's sort of how it all started. And then Listen to Your Land came as the almost theoretical methodology that was underlying all of that practice. And again, it started as very simple. Well, listen to your land, as where the sun heats you in the head in the summer, there should be a cover.
Yeah.
And where the wind blows, there should not be a door. And where there's a puddle, please don't build. And then it started growing more and more and more.
Mm,
And
mm,
layers
mm.
and layers started adding as to how do you read a place? What makes a place? What are the layers of reading it and understanding it that you can add from the culture of a larger scale first, of course. All of the watershed comes with, you pick a banana and you pull out the whole jungle. Um, all of these layers, and you can go esoteric all the way down if you want it, right? Or
Yeah.
you can keep it to the level that interests you. It's a very flexible and personal practice. And then it started getting a bit more structured, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are today with the Listen to Your
Wow.
Land as it is.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. It so resonates with me. When I discovered your work, what came forward as a feeling was a very grounded knowledge, a grounded knowing, and kind of like no need to use the word regeneration, no need to use the word sustainability, no need to use the words passive healing, passive cool, no need to use the words biophilic, no need to use the word just like grounded knowledge in true observation and getting to know where the water is on the land, where the sun rises, where it sets, where the winds are blowing, and there are many architects. Actually, my microphone is on, and it's so funny that it's on this book. And I laughed when I looked down and looked at it. I'm like, oh, how appropriate. This is sun. I'm not going to move my microphone. Well, I can actually. Hold on. I can. And this is sun, wind, and
Ah,
light.
a classic.
It's a
Yeah.
classic. And um it's so classic, and it's like the pages are brown, right? And I remember when I discovered this book, actually later, one of the professors that I taught with at the university, University of Economics, but it has an architecture department in Turkey, in Izmir, had this as one of the curriculum books for the students. And it's a beautiful, concise, well, actually comprehensive book that talks about the strategies across various cultures, right?
Mm.
And strategies for systems and architecture that are rooted in the local region, right? So, for example, um, uh, in let's say a more tropical climate, let's say Bali or something, you want to have longer, narrower buildings
Mm.
lifted up. There's a lot of moisture, right? Lifted up, like kind of like on stilts, lots of screens, right? Narrow section, so that when the monsoons come, right, it's raining, but there's a lot of cross ventilation. So when the sun comes out, the building dries out. Whereas here, where I live in Izmir, more kind of temperate, arid, Mediterranean, it's similar to where you are, right? In Provence, pretty much similar, I think.
Yes, yes, very much.
Similar, right?
Very much so.
You'll see it's actually kind of like observing also not only just the land, right? Just there's so much in the land, but the land, right? The natural features, but also observing the vernacular, right? Architecture, just really listening to that. Take a look. Aha,
What can you
okay.
learn?
People were building more square buildings here, more
Mhm.
square, 50 centimeter thick stone, right? And so in order to really keep the heat inside, right, for a longer period of time. I mean, there's so much more to the systems there, but I mean, we've lost this, I feel, Joe, and thank
We've
you
run
for
away from it.
we've ran away from it. We've ran away from it. And um sure, I mean, as a spiritual architect, Joe, I mean, the visions I see for the future architecture are just incredible, right? Like, what? There's this kind of like fluid, spiritual fluid running through buildings, and it runs the building, and but it's this natural, free kind of energy. And buildings are actually speaking to people. Like I go, like the visions that I receive are like, yeah, like nothing like we see now in architecture. But the danger of um the danger of always staying in the vision and not bringing it down and anchoring it to the ground that we now live in, to also the stage and the evolution of consciousness that we're
Mm.
in, right? Like we're physical human beings, right? We have needs, we have necessities. If we're not really bringing it down, what I see constantly in spiritual circles, and I know that you didn't bring in the topic of spirituality, but I'm just sharing it
Just
in
like I
from
didn't
my
bring the
well,
regenerative,
you
but
did, you did, you brought
they're
meditation
all
in, you
there.
brought
Yeah.
yoga in, but I'm just kind of almost like talking about exactly what you're sharing from my lens. The danger can be is that we can get lifted off the ground and just
Mm.
constantly in la la fantasy land. Now, some of those fantasies and visions are amazing, and if you can really get them built and created, amazing. But so much now that with AI and all of this like quick image generation, fast, 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 right? 2 seconds, 2 seconds, it's done. 2 seconds, it's there. And it becomes like an addiction, actually, right? You get addicted to that fast pace. What people I find end up getting really disappointed and frustrated, they're like, why is it taking so long? Or why, why does it take work, or why does it take
Mm.
effort to build
It was
something
supposed to be
physically?
easy. No, it was never supposed to be
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I do feel though that what you're bringing in, listen to your land, does bring ease. And it does bring a certain, I guess there's so many when we're in the beginning of a let's think about conventional architecture, Joe. What I've seen time and time again in architecture practices is clients bring in a whole pile of drawings or magazine clippings. Okay, that shows how old I am. Not magazine clippings, Pinterest boards.
A
Pinterest,
mirror board. Yeah, okay.
right? Pinterest boards. Do this. I want this. I want that. I want this. And then, if you're an intuitive architect, that can feel really jarring, right? Like, because you're just like, well, wait a second. Let's see what wants to unfold here. Let's make room for the creation and room for the mystery of creation, right? Or I share this in my YouTube series on the sacred blueprint. Or you have the egomaniac architect who doesn't
Always
listen to
have.
their clients' needs, who certainly does not listen to the land and has his own fantasies or her own fantasies, and they just want to import and plop. I think of Hassan Fatih, who's one of my idols, okay, Egyptian architect. He was building with Adobe and building with the vernacular forms in Egypt. And he talks about T square architecture. He's like, these lines, these up and down lines, a la Mies van der Rohe. I don't know what you guys are talking about, right? I love him. So yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your intuitions,
Oh,
Joe?
you've touched on so
Your
much. I'll start with why we're with this running away from vernacular inspiration and from working with the land. And in a way, all of these topics that we're talking about are that we're touching on are leading to the same issue of us culturally thinking that we're above nature and we're done with we've got technology now, we have science now, we have all of these solutions, tech solutions that we can plop onto anything. There's water coming, oh don't worry, we'll build a drain with a French drain and put an insulation. We have too much heat, oh don't worry, we'll put insulation on the roof. Oh, we have these sort of new panels, new technology, that etc. Oh, don't worry, we'll put UV glass, which, by the way, backfires. And there have even been issues of garden furniture holding fire, taking fire because
Are you
catching fire
serious?
because the UV glass,
It's
the
like
low
my son's
UV,
experiments with the magnifying glass.
exactly.
What?
If it hits it long enough on a garden chair, that can happen. Also the very cute uh, example of and that's my good friend Carl Welty, an architect in LA who I have to mention for having founded the example of the very high-tech LA mansion with the terrace with full down UV low UV glass, and then a terrace, and on the terrace you couldn't sit because it was like an oven.
So hot, right? It's just bouncing off that thing, and it's just like creating a good place to maybe make a barbecue. Barbecue
Those
your skin. Yeah.
Yeah, the solar barbecues, but big and for humans.
Wow.
So it's this
Yeah.
constant
Wow. Yeah.
fighting of our egos with nature and thinking
Mm,
that we're all above that. And if
mm.
we just put enough energy, we have gas, we have petrol. We'll just burn more energy and just fix it. We'll
Yeah.
trampling nature in the process, of course.
Yeah.
So and now speed, because if you have all of that energy that you can spend, you have to do it fast, and your ego says, oh, we're gonna do it, we're gonna make it really fast. And every time I would be brought in with a new client, and usually they're pretty well filtered clients because they come to me because of me and what I
Right.
talk about, and
Yeah.
still they want
They're
it
open
fast.
and they
And
still want it
still
fast. Isn't it
there are
interesting? Yeah.
there are decisions that have already been made before
Yeah.
me being brought into the project, and I'm really pretty sure that you've come across that too. And that decision, once it's done, it's incredibly hard to undo.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
already anchored into the
Yeah.
subconscious that this is the way that project is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Whether it's, we're going to make that yoga pavilion out of bamboo over there,
Yeah.
or bigger project programs that actually don't
Yeah,
fit
like
the
a
plan.
house addition or something like that. It could be an existing home. It could be any kind of scale. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Preconceived. I talk about that as
the
preconceived.
preconceived idea. And
Yeah.
so that led me to realize that before you do the listen to your land, you have to do the mental jailbreak. That the
Love that.
framing that helps you get
Great.
to that
Write
space.
that down. Mental jailbreak. Hey, this is Aisha popping in here to let you know about my free webinar. This is where you're going to discover how to unlock your spirit architect mastery, and it's going to support you to magnetize amazing clients who love paying you top dollar for your intuitive gifts. You're going to magnetize soul liberating health and overflowing creativity, birthing the sanctuaries of our new earth. I also offer an exclusive resource that I don't share publicly. This is the Sacred Blueprint Sweet Spot Profit Map. This is where you're going to gain tools that are going to support you to ditch the depletion of conventional practice in order to build a prospering architecture practice, bridging spirit with form. So make sure you sign up below for your free access, and on with the interview.
A lot of people used to call it unlearning, but I don't really like the unlearning name.
I hear
I don't
that.
know. So yeah, mental jailbreaking. Having
Love
to
that.
drink the Kool-Aid is another one. Is another good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And that means really an inner work of recalibrating your relationship with that place, finding out where the ego trips are and trying to get rid of those, and really seeing things clearly. What is your role with that place, and what and why are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
And so it becomes so much deeper than me being the architect who tells you what to do.
Yep.
And that was for me an identity shedding, hence the snake.
Yeah,
So
I noticed the snake. I'm glad that you brought the snake energy into this. Yeah.
it's very
Wow.
new. It's very new.
Wow. Wow. I just got
It's this.
shivers when
It's
you
a
said
this
that.
week thing. But
Mm.
I realized a couple of months ago that no, I'm not. I'm not an architect, and I'm not even a service provider.
Yeah.
You have a service provider means you have a problem that you know, and then the service provider who brings you the solution to that.
Yeah. And people
Um,
are paying you for something and you deliver. You
and you
deliver
deliver
that.
that's a deliverable. And I've been struggling with, having my clear deliverable for people for a very long while. But the truth of it is that the practice of listen to your land is much more a transmission, a recalibration, you brought up the spirituality thing, so I'm gonna run with it. It is a way of seeing reality differently as well,
Yeah.
because there are so many layers of reality that we ignore by just the sheer, how you don't see when you drive at night, you don't really recognize motorcycles because your brain looks for the pattern of two lights, and if there's only one light, your brain just
That's a
doesn't
fantastic
perceive it.
example. Yeah. It's because it's this pre-programming, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And one
Wow.
time we were in Greece. We just rented an apartment from a Dutch couple, and they were retirees, and as a lot of Dutch retirees, they were very into birds. And as she was telling me about birds, in that moment, in that space, in a taverna in Greece, a whole new layer of reality opened up. The birds had always been there, but all of a sudden, I was perceiving a bird song here, a different one there, a bird in front, across on the fence, something
Wow.
moving in the bushes, and I realized that I was just not perceiving that layer of reality. So
Yeah.
listen to your land has a lot of that going on, of
Yep.
how do you bring another lens, another layer of reality into your
I love
consciousness? How
that.
do you perceive more of
Yeah.
reality?
Yeah, when you were speaking, I hear window of truth, window of truth. So another layer of truth, another layer of truth about the moment, could be just the moment, could
Mm,
be the story of the place, can be a moment of truth about the true dynamics of relationships, right? Of people living there, relating with the place or not relating with the place, right? And I think that's really also the beauty of the feminine principles. And when I talk about feminine principles of being, it doesn't relate to gender, but it's about intuition. It's about the mystery.
Yeah.
It's about flow. It's also about slow in many ways. Of course, there's also different archetypes of, the feminine warrior who might be super fast, right? And swift and all of
We've
that.
had a
So
lot
I'm
of
not
that
talking
lately.
about something that's black and white here, but for me, the feminine has taught me to slow down and really listen to those in-betweens, right? The
Mm.
in-between spaces, the in-between the conversation, and opening up a whole new level of listening, like all around, all around. Um,
And holding all of that complexity without trying to collapse it too soon. And that's something I've
oh,
seen a
that's really
lot with people is I open their brain up. Like let's do a map of what this place can be and what other layers can we find? And at the end of an hour, they go like their brain has exploded
right.
because they can't hold all of
Mm,
that without sort of making it into a gigantic boulder that they have to hold on their head. And there's a process there that's called, it's a cognitive process that's called relevance realization. If you want to look up, Dr. Verwecke writes about it. He has a great Substack on relevance realization. It's this ever morphing, every instant process that we do of filtering out what is relevant to us in that moment out of the gigantic space of stuff that we encounter.
right.
So reality is so much more than just what comes into our consciousness. And so this filtering is something that's ever flowing. It's ever moving. And we're in a way almost creating our reality as we move through space and time via this relevance realization. So
Mm,
holding all of this chaos and then collapsing it into what's relevant, that means filtering out the
uh,
irrelevant as well.
yeah,
So
the
losing
irrelevant things.
stuff.
Yeah.
How do you
And
play
being
with that?
able to be with that without immediately, I love that, the collapsing word that you're
Mm.
using. I think part of why people feel overwhelmed with all the layers that you're revealing to them on the land, because the past paradigm, the old paradigm, has taught us that we constantly need to make a product out of something,
Yeah.
or that we
Yes.
constantly need to make a solution in the moment. Like, so, okay, I have this information. Now, what is it going to turn into? Okay, I have this information. What's the design? How many bedrooms is there going to be?
Yeah.
How
Where are
many
we gonna put
bathrooms?
it?
Where
Mm.
are we going to put it? How are we going to get it built? Oh my God, that's going to cost money. Well, that's not going to work. And then, la, 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 la. So, and that to me is for me is the unresolved masculine, like the energy of just constantly wanting to externalize everything, make everything physical product, right? A commodity, something, right? Whereas what I'm hearing that you're sharing is, okay, so through the listen to your land methodology, you're revealing, you're a guide, you're a way shower, and you're revealing to me the truth about the place and all of its layers, all of its multiple um, energies, physical, energetic, and I got to be okay with just allowing that to be for a certain period of time before I make some decisions, right? Some next step decisions regarding the solution of the
Mm.
property. It's similar to the sacred blueprint methodology. And in the first few phases of the sacred blueprint, I guide my clients to relinquish their attachments to shape and style. We do not take any photographs of the site even. We don't take any photographs of the property. We don't look to Instagram or Pinterest or design magazines. We don't. They actually, because I empower my clients. It's their project. It's not mine. theirs, right? And that can be challenging. And I get, even in the sacred blueprint, my clients are the ones who sketch the first sketch, not
Yeah,
me,
I love that.
working through an intuitive map.
Yeah.
So, and that can be, and I love that you're giving these examples of what clients can bump up against, right? This overwhelm. I've had clients where they are, there's some resistance to the process. There's fear. It's like, oh my God, I've got to let go of this. I
It's
got to,
too
what?
woo.
Yeah, it's too woo. I mean, yeah, I'm working with clients who say they're interested, who come to me interested in spiritual energetic work. I'm not interested in converting people. As a healer, I've wanted to heal so many people and heal the world and heal everything. No, I mean,
Mm,
consent
mhm.
is the most important thing. Are you with me? Are you partnering with me? Are you open to entering into this
To
space of the
share this.
unknown? Right? I go through all those protocols and communicate with them. Otherwise, they're not a good match for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's lovely what you say about um you're not the one who's doing, it's them who do. And this is this comes back again to this idea of externalizing. We've been brought up as a society
Yeah.
to externalize. Oh, I shall bring in an ecologist and they will solve it for me. It shall
Right.
cost how many,
Yeah.
thousands of, but it'll be
Really good
done.
point.
And you can't externalize your relationship to that place, and you cannot externalize your deep understanding and knowledge of that place over the years that you have to actively build, to somebody else who's going to come for an hour, maybe a half a day, take
Yeah.
some measurements, whatever, and give you their expertise advice. That is at the height of the leg of a frog compared to the deep knowledge that people a couple of generations ago had about a place.
Yeah.
Um, and there's something there that we've lost in, yeah, again, not a lot of generations, and that um, climate change also kind of makes different because everything's a bit wacky, so you can't really learn from patterns of history anymore. You have to add uh, add this lens to it, and
Well,
it
yeah, I mean,
it makes everything a bit more chaotic.
yeah. Yeah.
But the simple observing of a place and how it goes through the cycles of a season, how it goes through the changes that it went through across the ages before you, stuff that you do through research, through interviews of the old neighbor who knows where all the water
Yes.
sources used to be and now they're not there anymore. But
Yep.
all of that gold, that you are the only one who
Yeah.
can do that. Nobody
Yeah.
else can come from the outside, get paid to give you the cliffs notes on your place.
I love that. There's a couple things that I'm thinking about related to our property here in Urla in Izmir. One, our water softener. So we've got a lot of uh, lime, like calcium or kireç, lime in the water. It's hard water, and so we have a pretty good water softener system, right? But I'm dependent on the guys coming and checking and doing. I mean, they've taught us, right? And okay, this is a kind of a minor example, but in the future, if we're cut, if we don't know if we're cut off from
Mm,
receiving certain products, right? Because of a war or because of this, and we're cut off from receiving that company's products, right? Was there a way, right, in the past that we could have done it more, um, yeah, like without being dependent on that company? The other thing that comes to mind too is, so I work with reading the geopathic stress on people's properties. So I'm a dowser as well. So I do
mhm.
geomantic work. So that's a whole other level of energy which I think is so crucial to accompany what you are teaching and guiding your clients through, to really listen, right? If there are toxic water lines running under the land,
Mm.
you will have challenges sleeping at night. If there are ghosts, they may cause some trouble. If you build over a nature spirit dwelling, they'll certainly cause trouble. They'll give you problems with getting permits. They'll give you problems with making decisions about your design, about your property. I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. But this slow topic, I think, is such an important one. There's this line of bushes that I'm like, grow bushes, grow. I'm like talking to them all the time. I think talking to your plants is a good thing too, to bring life force to them. And now they're finally growing, coupled with a great gardener. I've attracted a great gardener, and he's helped us to bring in some more iron to these bushes that we want them to grow long and healthy. I wouldn't have been able to fully confirm where some of those energy lines were running had it not been for that line of bushes, Joe. Because now I can feel each time I'm watering them. And so we don't have the on-demand watering
Mhm.
system, which I know is very helpful for large properties. Our property isn't massive, so we've got like 3 hoses, and we're watering our fruit trees, and but sometimes whenever I'm in a huff about it, like, oh, I gotta water the fruit trees, like, oh, right? Then
I know the one.
there's this voice that tells me, Aisha, this is getting you out onto your land and communicating with your fruit trees. This is out getting you onto your land
Yeah.
and looking at these bushes that you've been very putting a lot of your attention and wishes onto. So back to the energy. There's a spot where the bushes grow taller. Okay. There's two of them where ley
Yeah.
lines
Taller than
run.
the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, sometimes ley lines can burn a bush too, because it's like a very fiery energy. It depends on the plant too. Some of the plants love the watery yin lines and stuff, but I can feel it when I'm holding my hose. One bush, then the other one, then the other one. They're all the same species, okay? All the exact same. So it's a good study, right? And I can also feel when there's a sucking down energy, like which is a sign of geopathic stress. It could be too yin, right? Yin energy. She absorbs, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
Versus yang energy, which is more fiery and usually will lift you up. Like the Romans would build roads all along grid lines and ley lines to give the soldiers boosts of energy, so that they're not falling asleep. So these are the layers that I bring in with the sacred blueprint, but just what you're sharing really reinforces the importance of the deep listening without wanting to make that quick fix solution, because there's an
Mm.
ego part of me that's like, just
What does
get
that
these
mean and how
plants
can I
to
use
grow
it? Yeah. Yeah.
fast. I want them to grow fast and make a wall. So we're not looking at, the side road. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just observing, I mean, taking the time and being there present with your place. And that's
Yeah.
what place journaling kind of started from.
Yes, share with our listeners about place journaling, some of the offers that you have, and
Okay,
um,
I'll dive right into
and who
place
is it
journaling
for
then.
specifically? Like who is this a good match for? Your work. Who specifically do you work with?
So what my work at its best is a work of one-on-one transmission.
Yeah.
That's the space that we built together. It's a very personal space. It's somewhere, say, between coaching, mentoring, guiding, and designing together. And then, the strategic advisor and all the service providing bits that come with. And that is the best for people who have recently bought a land and they have there are the threshold moments. So either they're about to purchase a piece of land
Okay. So you help people find their ideal property as well?
as well.
Great. Okay, good.
Because that also comes with, what do you actually want? What are you actually
Yeah.
looking for? Where
Not
is
what
the
your
ego
father
trip that
wants
we
or
can
not what
strive from
your
there?
yeah.
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 Pieces of land that have just been acquired, and so again, in that transition, the two phases of that transition, inheritance of pieces of land that come with all of their baggage and all of their
Wow.
ghosts,
Wow.
and you need to recalibrate your relationship with that piece of land, shed what's come from before. And that piece of land also needs a new shape, a new purpose.
A new purpose. Yeah.
So it's again a transition. It's a you and land transition phase.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that's where I do one-on-ones, of course, but then I do what I call the Listen First intensive, which is a 6-week intensive when you're ready to like really lock in and squeeze the lemon out of a listen to your land.
Is that different than place journaling? Yeah,
That's
that's
different
different.
from
Okay,
place
right. That's the
journal.
4-week one, which you'll share. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I share that last, even though we started with it, because it's the sort of easiest entry point.
Okay.
And it's because place journaling also works when you don't have a piece of land.
Oh, really?
When
Oh,
you are
beautiful.
nowhere, where you're just renting a place in
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is I've come to realize the deep need for a sense of belonging that we all feel.
This has come
In
up
a
so much with my
globalized
clients.
world,
Yeah. Yeah.
where we're all migrants, you were telling me how many places you've come from, and so
Yeah.
have I. I couldn't have developed Listen to Your Land had it not been for all of these different gorgeous places that I learned, like
Yeah.
the Little Prince and his fox. We learned together to build a relationship by coming back to each other.
Yeah.
So place journaling takes a little bit of that spirit and is just a series of practices that you can do for 10 minutes a day. There are different practices each week. Each week of the 4 weeks is one of the main elements. We start with earth, with grounding, with arriving in the place, and then we move on to water and all of the metaphors and all of the symbolism, all the stuff that you want or that you're pulled towards. And then air, and we finish off with fire, the energy of change. And so it's a series of practices that you can do absolutely anywhere. And we did one first session in January, and it was very interesting to see how you relate to a place when it's cold, when it's dreary, when it's bare bones because there's no leaves and you can see everywhere and the sun is angling. It
Low.
helps you
Yeah.
see everything, and how that we're going to see how that compares to to the glorious days of summer solstice, and how when everything's so inviting and everything's so
Everything's
glorious.
buzzing and yeah.
offerings everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be an easier place journaling to do than going outside in January.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Whenever I guide my clients to connect with their land physically, because we also work telepathically, which is pretty amazing as well through the meditations. I always remind them, okay, if it's Canada or somewhere, right? Like it's like take your all your
Gear up.
layers with you, your tea, your warm tea and stuff like that. So, yeah, beautiful. So, place journaling, when does it begin? You've got
Place journaling summer session is starting right after solstice on June 22nd. That's a
okay.
Monday, and
Yeah.
it's free. It's on the Substack of Listen to Your Land, and it's a very simple weekly email with a WhatsApp group.
Oh, great. And so will it be live then? You'll be delivering it live to the students? Or
No, it's a
is
newsletter,
it
and then the live part comes in the WhatsApp group, which is a bit more.
got
It's
it.
still free, but it's a tiny bit more of an inner circle, and we gather around.
Fantastic.
Lurkers welcome. You can join the WhatsApp group without feeling
Oh,
the need to to the responsibility of actually posting anything. You can just come in. But
oh,
that's the
fantastic.
inner circle of the practice. There's a lot of, or at least there were in the first session we did, a lot of peers, a lot of practitioners from the regenerative design space, from the permaculture space, architects, biophilic architects, etc. as well. So
I love that.
there's also this meta conversation of how do you bring that into your own design practice that's been
I love that.
unfolding.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Joe has a special offer for all of you beautiful souls. 30% off the annual plan. So when your Substack annual plan, is that correct? Great. You get 30% off of Joe's Substack annual plan. We're going to send a special link for you. Well, we'll add it to the captions below the YouTube video as well as the podcast listening app. How else can people work with you? There's a one-on-one that you
There's the
do, right?
one-on-ones, of
High
course.
level.
There's the paid. I want to add that the paid
Yeah,
Substack. I don't think I've written that to you. The paid Substack also has the yearly Listen to Your Land contemplation practice,
fantastic.
as that comes as a weekly ongoing. You can hop in at whichever time of the year you just happen to be, and it moves on cyclically. It's a small reminder that each week there's a new layer of reality that you could be geeking out about.
I love it.
And I also offer two heavy discount on the two sessions of one-on-ones for the people who are subscribing on the Substack.
Fantastic.
It's more important to me that we talk
Yeah.
on a heavy discounted price. And two sessions is enough either to get you completely hooked or to actually solve a tension or a knot that you were having.
Fantastic.
It's long enough that we can untangle something together.
Oh, beautiful. Well, for all of you property owners, land stewards, maybe even architects who are wanting to learn more about Joe's unique modality, I highly recommend you sign up for her Substack and connect with her. Um, my feeling, as I've mentioned earlier, is that she brings a very grounded approach that is a balance of maybe I don't know, Joe, that you use it in or you communicate it in these terms, but it's a very balanced approach between the masculine and the feminine, and really connecting with the land, the physical place, but also opening up to the mystery of it through intuition. Do you work intuition? Is
Oh,
that a
oh boy,
yeah?
do I! Yes,
Okay,
of
yeah,
course. But yeah, you're right that this bringing this zooming in and out, um, and bringing zooming in and out of scales that you work with, of course, but also the zooming in and out of the sort of ways of approaching things, from the very practical to the very intuitive and back. That's also very big part of the practice. And again, it can be unsettling. It can be unsettling at times. What that you're losing your footing a bit. But it's part of the dance. Otherwise,
Part
you
of the
kind of
dance,
tend
right?
to spin off too
Yeah,
much.
we're required to let go a certain amount.
In
Otherwise, if
either
we're
direction.
holding
Yeah.
on, right, to that preconceived idea, like we were talking about earlier in our conversation,
Mm,
no, I want the design to be like this, but it has to be like this. And, or if you're developing, let's say, you want to have passive income. So you're constantly making calculations. Well, I'll have
mm.
this many tiny houses and I'll do the Airbnbs. And, um, this is definitely a topic. It's like, how can I best utilize my land? And we can see the extreme of that with building developers, right? It's like, how
Oh,
much can I shove onto the property? And they always say the excuse, well, costs are high, labor costs are high,
the
material
investor.
costs are high, which is true, but you're going to end up being in the red and not being able to sell your houses
And
if
don't not know why.
and you don't know why if you're not listening to your land like Joe is guiding all of us, or and connecting with the subtle realms of place and really uh respecting the land as a living being. She's our mother earth, right? And yeah, so we've been really destroying the land. And I don't mean to be overly romantic about like, oh, we don't build anything. That can be also another
And that's the
extreme.
flip side.
Like I have a lot of clients who have gone through trauma
Mm,
and they're like, I don't want to touch anything.
yeah.
Rudolf Steiner is someone who I studied for a long time and I continue to study. I'm a Steiner student. He talked about how rocks actually enjoy being sculpted and crafted because there's
Didn't know
an
that.
element of being that gets released. We could go and maybe this is a part two, but it's a very deep topic. And they're a part of us, the elements, the nature spirits are a part of us as well. And it's our duty
Absolutely.
to be that bridge.
Or at least to
Yeah.
not sever the communication channels.
Yes.
At least, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right that there's this balance between being too grounded in pragmatic decisions
Yeah.
and
Then it becomes too
simply
hard,
being
right? Yeah.
focused and gripping. And then the other flip side is you go all the way to almost decision paralysis because it's so you don't want to move, you don't want to change anything, you don't want to remove a single weed because weeds are displaced plants that are not like you get so bogged down into the other side of this coin, on the flip side of this
Yeah.
coin as well. So
Yeah.
it's a balance, and it's a dance that you find within yourself. And that's why the first part is so important.
So important.
Grounding yourself first and then recalibrating your relationship with that place. So basically, like methodology wise, the listen to your land has three phases. First, this recalibration of the relationship and your inner centering. The second is the actual technical listening to the land, which can take um, different forms, different layers, etc. And then there's the decision making informed by those two first phases, right? You take
Beautiful.
a decision on something. So you can do this cycle yourself in the garden very simply at a very small scale. And you can do this at the very big scale
Big
of a
scale.
whole project as
Yeah.
well. But the
Yeah.
small scale is ground yourself, breathe once or twice, be with the place, observe it. That's the second phase. Observe it. And then ask a good question. Be curious. Why is that bush bigger than the other ones in the line? Don't fish for the answer yet. Just like send that
Send
question
that
out
question.
with curiosity, and just sit with it. Let that space of not knowing be, and just
Yeah.
float by. And this sort of tiny cycle, like, it can build up as a ritual almost, that you can go through it with earth and then fire, and then what are you missing? What's another thing you
Yeah.
haven't been noticing lately?
Yeah.
Use that mnemonic of the four elements to guide you.
I love that.
What's here today that I can anchor myself into, observe, and then be curious about?
So beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's a cycle. I mean, there's so many crossovers with the sacred blueprint. I'm also guiding my clients through the four elements, and really that they're being supporting the whole process. And yeah, this whole you can do a mini version, you can do a longer scale, bigger scale project version. And this question, the power of the question, it's almost like that seed, isn't it?
Mm.
A seed, really sending that seed out.
Yeah, those
That
messages
question.
to the universe. That's a yet another topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Joe, this is amazing. You had some images, some beautiful images that you sent me. Would you like me to share a couple of those, or were they just kind of like
Yeah, of
attached to the
course. If
email?
one of them is the I think is the website, but then the other one is
Oh,
slow.land, which is a an experiment in showing people what listen to your land can be. And it's really funny to see people who to send it to someone and look at them while they're trying to figure it out. So this is the website, the listen
yeah,
first,
yeah,
the my main website,
yeah,
um, which states what we've talked about: transitions of places that we don't fully know yet. Um, the
do,
window when listening is still possible, because then there's a point when you get into project mode where, yeah, really things are stuff is nailed down, and you enter active mode, of course, but there's
yeah,
this fertile moment of potential, and not and of not knowing that we're
yeah.
playing it with
Uh,
here.
Joe, are you artistic? Do you do hand drawings and
Oh yes, the my Substack, as you'll see, is full of that. There's
well, we
also
would
part
love
of
to see more of those drawings if you're open to sharing, because they're just, I feel such a beauty coming from
well, thank
these
you. Then you'll be pleased to know that an adjacent service of my work is called Slow Studio, and that's a creative real estate studio. That's on
Wow.
studio.slow.land. I'll send you that link as well.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
It
the graphic.
puts into drawing and into plans and perspectives and estate plans, the way all of this stuff of perspective of seeing reality differently that we've talked about. And then
Wow,
this is
so beautiful.
the slow land experiment. That's you have to go and visit it
Mm.
to understand what it is. I don't think I can say much more about
Yeah,
slow
but they
land.
just there's an energy emanating from these images that I invite the listeners and watchers. I mean, if you're listening to this on the podcast app, hop on over to our YouTube channel, Aisha Rose Melody Hassan, and you'll see Joe's images here. There's a lot of beauty here, mystery, beauty, quiet, and slow and depth. So yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
send it to a friend and watch him struggle to figure out what he's supposed
Yeah.
to do with it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
The struggle
Beautiful.
between the fast pace of the browser that we're used to and the
Yeah.
slowness of this particular spot.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, Joe, it was such a great conversation, and yeah, such a privilege to interview you.
It was so good. We both had a sense it was gonna be good. It was really
Yeah,
good.
really good, really good. So everyone, until the next episode, make sure we're going to have all of Jo's links in the caption. So make sure you check out her website, her Substack. There's the place journaling summer session beginning. You have a 30% discount on the annual Substack subscription, and connect with her if you are eager to go deep and listen to the wisdom of the land to make the most aligned decisions regarding your property. Do not copy Pinterest pictures. Do not attempt to generate, I'm just going to add my instructions here, Jo, if you don't mind. Do not attempt to generate your floor plans with AI. I mean, I'm not against AI. Just later, it can help you to produce some design drawings, whatever. This may be more for the architects, but don't. Deeply listen. Everything is actually within you. Yeah.
It'll come. If you align yourself and are really present, all of that comes. It just comes through you. You just have to open up your channels long enough for the thing to happen, for the magic to happen.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jo, again. And I look forward to another conversation in the future.
Yes, likewise.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's time to rise and unite your two sides. The determined, go-getter, high-achieving architect with the wild, nature-loving energy healer. You're fed up with the grind and stress of conventional practice and are ready to come out of hiding and unleash your feminine magic to birth the temples of our future by partnering with the spirit of the land. Hi, I'm Aisha Rose. I'm an architect on a bold mission to help humanity awaken and heal by bridging spirit with form. After over 20 years of leading a distinguished career in architecture and successfully working with land energetics, I birthed the Sacred Blueprint, a revolutionary, unconventional approach helping you to design the optimal blueprint for your clients' dream sanctuaries while opening the way for smooth project planning. Now I'm thrilled to share my unparalleled expertise and cutting-edge tools with you so you lead a prospering, spirit-led architecture practice while attracting overflows of abundance, radiant health, creative ease, and divine match clients while making a powerful impact on Earth. Introducing the Sacred Blueprint Certification Program, a proven spiritual energetic property design system that will outlast AI and equip you with all you need to know to leverage your intuitive gifts with architecture. Nothing like this exists out there. The Sacred Blueprint is a call from Mother Earth. This is the next evolutionary pulse and a groundbreaking movement for high-achieving, spirit-conscious women architects that will put you miles ahead as a leader and help heal the planet. Apply now.